Alright, I got a really cool one for you guys today. I'm out here in Wilsonville, Oregon, and I've been wanting to do this one for a little while. You've already seen it before. You've already in a previous video, but today we're going to go over the whole thing. Here we go. Yes. So today we're gonna go over this this special Scion. How's Pete doing today?
I'm alright, man. How you doing?
Yeah, doing all right. See if I can get this thing to stay straight. But we're gonna go over this whole thing. Like nobody else goes this hard on Scion TCs than you that I've seen here. All right. I mean, this thing is straight race car. All right. So we're going to start today with the engine in this thing, because obviously you can tell it doesn't have a, what motor's in this usually?
It's a 2A ZFE, it's a 4-cylinder.
Okay.
It's front wheel drive configuration usually, yeah.
Okay, so it's typically 2.4 liter dual overhead cam VVTi?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
But not dual, it's just single VVTi.
Okay, alright. So, yeah. You know, I need that. Keep it simple here. Oh my goodness. What? Hang on here real quick. So, what made you originally throw this in here at all?
I just didn't want to have to build the crap out of a motor again. I spent probably like $6,000 on a 2AZ that ended up having issues, because eventually they usually do. I'm not talking bad about the motors. It's just certain factors make them not the best. But they can put out a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
They've been known to put out like 2,000 to 4,000, but it costs money. So
Oh, okay.
It costs a lot of money. It's kind of like building a 4AGE.
Gotcha. Okay. And then at the end of the day, it's still front wheel drive, just as everybody at home thinks of when they think of Scion TC, whereas this is not that at all.
Yeah.
So I guess the next question would be, what's the transmission behind it?
It's actually from a Z32, and
Okay.
a lot of people think that the twin turbo and the NA are different, but
Mm-hmm.
they just have different bell housings.
Okay.
So this trans can handle probably like 600, 700, 800 horsepower. Yeah.
All right. And how much do they run for? Like $300-400 or?
No, they used to.
Okay.
I got
They used
mine
to.
for about 300 when it wasn't that expensive, but people are starting to see that you can use them more. And so, you know, there's always that tax, the popularity tax.
Popularity
So
tax.
now they're like $900 sometimes. I haven't been able to find any recently for very cheap.
Gotcha. Now, was there a conversion kit that you had to put in between the two of them, or is it pretty?
Yeah.
You know the right flywheel and whatnot, and
There's a Collins adapter, but all I used was the adapter. Other than that, there's like a bunch of other parts that you need to adapt this to the 1UZ. And instead of buying those adapter parts, I actually took the bell housing and had like 25 millimeters shaved off of it at a shop. And then I basically took my 2AZ flywheel and drilled the holes out, because it's got the same center bore. So it's basically hub centric, like if you're talking about a wheel.
Yeah.
So it's the same exact center bore for the crank. And then it's a Fidanza 8-pound. After that, I used the 2AZ heavy duty clutch. So it's got the same clutch.
Okay.
But the friction disc is actually another ACT friction disc for a KA. So it's
pieces together.
yeah, Ultra Frankenstein, yeah.
Gotcha. And then I guess the next question would be, what sort of suspension in terms of parts, like what shocks and springs are you running?
Oh my God.
to make this all like happy?
So it's got the subframe of an LS400 in it, and
okay. And which we'll get it on the lift, and we'll go over that, because that in and of itself is.
But it's set up weird, so I had to redo how the sway bar is mounted. The knuckles are actually from a V6 Camry.
Okay.
The struts and springs are coilovers. They're K-Sports. They're for a Scion TC.
Okay.
Coincidentally, they bolt directly to the Camry knuckles.
If it fits, it ships, right?
Yeah. So
and then check this out here. You got
giving away all the sauce so people can copy me.
Yeah. This will be like a like a political thing, make your Scion TC cool.
But you actually have to do a lot of welding and fabrication in order to get the subframe to actually fit. And then it has the forward control arms, or what are they called? Torque rods, I believe.
Tension rods?
I believe so,
Tension rods?
Yeah,
Or, I mean, that's at least what I know them
They
as.
go to the front, and I had to reinforce the front with chrome ollie in order to mount them. So basically, it's got a whole brace system that you can't see underneath the engine cradle.
We'll see a little bit later. Let's go over the interior a little bit. I know there's really not much of it left, but hey, there's been a lot of like sort of little style things that I saw while I was just glimpsing in there.
Well, the car used to be silver, but over the years I've changed small things.
This car used to be silver?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell under all this black.
It used to be some form of classic silver metallic. My friend Eric would tell you otherwise. He's the guy who knows all that. But
check out these gauges. That is rad. All right, and then obviously, Oh. Now, and I also noticed you got a signature on the dash. Who's that?
That is Ken Gushi's signature.
Ken Gushi, huh?
Yeah.
In what year? When did you get him to sign that?
God, probably. This is a hard one. This would have been at like the first or the second Formula Drift. So, God.
Wow. So we're talking like
A long
what,
time
2007,
ago.
2008? I don't really know.
That's before I ever converted this, and that's not the reason why I converted it, but it was neat, and so I did it.
Okay, and then let's go back here for a second. Obviously, this is a plastic window of some sort.
Yeah, it's a polycarbonate because Lexan is prone to shattering. Only problem is that it scratches, so you can see how cool it looks now.
Right.
But the weight
all the air going over it leaves a trail.
The weight reduction is worth it.
Wow, look at that all cut out over here. And then obviously this shocks and whatnot you had to put through here?
Yeah, because
if I can get this straight.
The 350Z subframe and then the struts that I had to use, they do not fit in that location. So I had to reinforce the floor pan slightly. It was pretty strong, but I had to reinforce it and then weld towers in for it.
Wow. This is elaborate, man. This is definitely, obviously you got your little kill switch there.
Yeah. Kills the power.
I'm on fire!
Added a diffuser behind it, so it actually does work really good, and it's at a good angle that it pulls down pretty decent.
Yeah, and it definitely, I like how it almost matches over in here, even though you said this is from a Mustang.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, it's totally from a Mustang. Yeah.
And then look at these tires. These tires mean business, in case any of you guys out there are unaware of that. I love this though, the tow hook. Dude,
that's actually from a 2AZ.
Oh, imagine that. It's definitely thematically on there. And then, yeah. So I guess the next thing to do with this one would be to get it on the lift, which we have today, which is glorious, and go over what the bottom of this looks like. Because if you think the top of this looks interesting, bottom of it, we're going into a whole nother land. Alright, so we're gonna go under the car now. Alright, hopefully my camera decides to not bug out on me, but we're gonna start at the front of it over under here and take us through. Alright, so take us through underneath of here.
Okay,
this is the bottom of the 1UZ.
Frame had to be modified where the subframe sits, and then in the front also to accommodate these
tension rods.
Tension rods, yeah. Basically what you call them. And I added chrome ollie bars that go from the front to the rear to reinforce it, so that way it didn't have any weird steering issues, and it didn't pull front and rear. You know, because that would actually change the steering angle as you're driving if it were weak. I noticed
you got these big box deals right here. Man.
The aluminum C-channel is a cradle technically for the motor because it sits farther forward than the aluminum subframe from the LS400. Right. This is lower control arms from the LS400. They've been mated to the ball joints for the TC and then the Camry knuckles. I just basically took the axles and cut the ends off of some crap axles and use them as plugs to keep the bearings together.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
And then looking from this side of it, that is a whole aluminum subframe.
Yeah.
And then you bolted it into here. I noticed when I look over here, there's like... It ends up just kind of tying into it, and then this ends up tying over there where the radiator Corsa cord's at. And then, so you said this one ends up being the transmission out of 300ZX.
Yeah, Z32.
Z32. You can see inside there a little bit.
Taking more time to clean it, but I was more interested in building.
Drive it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
You know, and then this is also out of the LS, is what you're saying? This.
Yeah, the actual transmission brace.
Wow. What are all? Oh, those are all.
They're just collars, basically to get the right height. I would have had to modify the floor pan in order to get it to sit at the right height.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then pop over here, this beautiful exhaust, and then right up above that is where the drive shaft sits. But now we're gonna get to the business end of it over here, which is probably what everybody's curious on. What did we do to make this thing rear-wheel drive? All right, so if you look, we're keeping with this aluminum thing, whether I'm pronouncing it wrong or not. Everybody can hate me in the comments. This rear subframe is what?
Oh, it's from a 350Z. Yeah.
350Z.
Yeah, it's got a Z32 diff and then a custom drive shaft.
And what about this? Yeah, look at this guy. He looks happy. Looks like he's ready to eat. Looks
like he's ready
to eat. Looks like he's ready to eat. That's all right.
I just like people to see that when they're behind me. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But so that thing, you ended up, man, I really wish this would work in that fashion, but so you ended up just building little down brackets to it, and then...
yeah, basically. So, like, this is not normally supposed to have a coil sleeve setup in it. So I built, actually, a cup, which is easier to see here than it is to see around.
Scooch it around over here.
But it holds the strut and the spring. And I think on the Z33, which is the 350Z, it basically, normally the strut attaches to the knuckle, and it doesn't have that here. So it's separate. But that's not a problem because technically all of the weight sits on these spring cups. Okay. And then the strut just keeps the travel up and down. So I combined them in the spring cup. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this exhaust, this glorious exhaust. You were telling me that this thing, this exhaust is from eBay.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's a very low cost considering the sound and how much you get. It was like $200.
And this is originally for also a Z car.
Yeah, a 350Z. I just had to reconfigure it slightly and modify it.
God, I knew it. Look, the answer to your 350Z exhaust note is to get 2 more cylinders. Because it's just glorious as soon as you add 2 more to it.
Yeah, and then
you know, whether it's out of some old Lexus in a junkyard or something, that's something else.
My cool fuel system. That's a DW350i. It's Deutschwerks.
Deutschwerks.
Yeah.
And then obviously.
Yeah, the really janky setup, but it works really good.
And you had also said this car has been in a couple of accidents?
Yeah, probably like 2 or 3. I've had to repair it a few times.
2 or 3?
Yeah.
And then each time it's just gotten crazier, huh?
Yeah, well, you can't give up on something that you like. You know?
Well, you can choose not to, that's for sure. Don't be like me. All right, well, definitely thank you for taking us through this vehicle and all of its awesomeness. You can check out Hot Pursuit Volume 1 with this thing out sliding around, although it's not built to do that, correct? This is more of a autocross car, correct?
Yeah, it was originally built to do autocross. I brought it to the track in Spirit Peaks to test it out, but I'm terrible at drifting because I've never done it. So,
which you know, everybody does start.
Your buddy Ryan took it out and
I just rode along. I'd have nothing to do with that.
Showed me that it actually did pretty decent.
Yeah.
Which actually kept me motivated to work on it more. So yeah, I appreciated that.
I'll do it again. I like sitting in the passenger seat while Ryan's over there and blah 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 going at it. Let's see. How would people keep up with you? Because obviously you're building more than just this. Serial builder over here.
Well, on YouTube it's Modded Garage.
Modded Garage.
On Instagram it's Taitano Art.
Taitano Art. Okay. All right. Be sure to go check it out if you're interested in this and anything else he's working on. Until then, we'll catch you later. All right.